You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Travalyst. Lightning rod for negative news. Harry's wife entirely aptly how, as a consequence of him being a dimwit and her operating with short-termism, that their policy of let's shit on our family has royally blown up in their faces. As a pair of talent-free individuals who have nothing to fall back onto other than hoping that people will give them handouts and that will pay them for beige word salads, fridge magnet platitudes and whining about how they've been treated, they are now finding that those chickens of authenticity are really coming home to roost. Singularly unpopular, without any talent that can be utilised, they are now finding that the deals are drying up as people run away from them as if they were lumbering towards them carrying the plague. "Don't infect me with your failure," comes the cry from anybody around them. As once they were fated and on the up, now that downward spiral is gathering pace. And the latest problem that has arisen has originated once again as a consequence of the very firm view that the Sussexes are nothing but trouble. Mark Duell, in the Daily Mail, reports, "Has Prince Harry been dumped by eco-tourism firm? Travalyst announces it has entered an incredibly exciting era with a new board of directors, with no mention of the Duke. As PR experts warn, the royal is a lightning rod for negative news." Prince Harry's sustainable tourism project Travalyst has announced it has entered an incredibly exciting era with a new board of directors, with no mention of the royal. The independent non-profit organisation based in London was launched by the Duke of Sussex in 2019, when he was still a working royal, with Harry's wife. Harry spent 3 years as the public face of the initiative to encourage the tourism industry to become more sustainable, despite a furore over his use of private jets. But he was left out of a major announcement by the group in May about its transition from a pilot phase to a new board of 5 people with a world-class expertise. Now, ordinarily, why would you involve Harry in something that you're doing? Is it because he brings with it a brain the size of Canada? No. Is it because he's got a wealth of experience battling in the boardrooms around the world? No. Is it because he's a brilliant motivating individual whose very words would inspire people to aim higher, work harder, achieve more? No. Is it perhaps because he has a particularly perceptive view about certain niche aspects of an industry? No. The only reason that you would involve Prince Harry is that it looks good that you've got a royal on board, that it's some kind of seal of approval, and that people would be interested in the fact that you've got a royal involved, and therefore it enables you to garner publicity, because the newspapers will report on it. However, that is the sole use of Prince Harry. He's like a totem. Get him on board, you'll get some publicity. Oh, but hang on a minute. There's a problem. The publicity that surrounds him isn't very good these days. The publicity that surrounds him as a consequence of his behaviour and that of his wife means that people are more likely to go boo when they see him rather than huzzah. All of this means that those that once would be associated with him because he brought some kudos by virtue of being a royal and oodles of publicity have now determined, shh, keep him quiet. He's like that weird relative that you have to lock in the attic whenever you have visitors. Don't bring him out because he's now seen as unpopular, divisive because of his wife. Travalyst's statement was made 8 days after Harry and Harry's wife's spokesman said the couple had been involved in a near-catastrophic car chase while being followed by paparazzi in New York after the Ms. Foundation Women of Vision Awards. The NYPD later softened the couple's dramatic account, saying there were no reported collisions, summonses, injuries or arrests related to the incident. Another opportunity there for the Daily Mail to stick the knife in with regard to that ridiculous incident. Harry, 38, is still in regular contact with the Travalyst chief executive and board behind the scenes and remains committed to it, according to a report in Newsweek. In addition, the Duke is still listed on the Travalyst website as its founder and patron. But it is notable that he was not used as a promotional tool for the revamp, given how prominently he has been previously involved in conferences and marketing. And of course, this all comes down to this point, that he's seen as a problem, and therefore they don't want to utilise him. And how has he become seen as a problem? His wife's behaviour. PR expert Siobhan O'Meara, managing director of Manchester-based agency Essential Content, said the change of approach at Travalyst could be due to the marketing difficulties presented by the negative publicity often faced by Harry. He told Mail Online, "This move to lower Harry's prominence as Travalyst enters a new phase of growth looks and feels strategic. It's not an oversight, and it could very well be at Harry's request or at the request of his advisors." Many in the PR industry, myself included, were speculating in the press earlier this year about how he might rehabilitate and refresh his media profile. And one of the most common recommendations was for Harry to step away from centre stage and give himself and the organisations he's associated with some breathing room, i.e., in other words, "You're dragging us down, will you piss off for a bit?" Harry had become something of a lightning rod for negative PR, which was harming perceptions of the organisations he was trying to support. Mr. O'Meara said that the downside to a brand ambassador approach to PR is that when the halo effect of endorsement or association with the public figure wears off, it is significantly more difficult to attract attention and generate the required media coverage to build awareness. He added, "This is by far the biggest risk facing brands that partner with public figures to build awareness. Their perceptions are tied to and become a function of perceptions of the celebrity. When things are going well for the celebrity, the organisation benefits too. It's easy to get attention. When things become challenging and a celebrity's appetite for seeing themselves in the press wanes, that has a downstream effect on their partners and affiliates." Another PR expert, Andy Barr, co-founder of the Gloucester-based agency 10 Yetis Digital, told Mail Online, "Harry has really stepped back from the glare of the media in recent months, and this is to be expected, given the negativity and public outcry that came from him washing his dirty linen in public. He won't want the causes that he is most passionate about to become embroiled in rows about his own decision-making, so he's clearly decided to reduce the amount of mentions of his own name. You could expect his name to be used far more when his brand starts to improve, which it most certainly will, given the army of image and PR advisors he has access to. For now, though, it's low-profile time, and this is undoubtedly going to frustrate some of his passion project companies that he's signed up to, as they rely on his name to make their stories travel further." Now, they suggest that it's Harry that's decided to step back, but one wonders whether it's actually the organisations themselves that have seen that he's become somewhat toxic to be associated with, and therefore, in the circumstances, it's likely that other people are thinking, look, let's not have anything to do with him because there's a negative perception of him and we don't want to be included in that. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.